Hello, Aaron here, predicting bowl games again. I'm going to make these ones kind of quick because I'm running on a tight schedule right now, but I'm going to predict the 4 games for New Year's Day. Happy New Year. Game number 1 is the TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl between Nebraska, the Cornhuskers, going up against the 22nd ranked Bulldogs of Georgia. Both teams went 8-4 and 5-3 in conference play this year, but both teams were looking for better. These two teams have very identical stories, and I'm going to start by telling you guys about Nebraska's. They came into this year off a strong year last year with Taylor Martinez looking to be their leader, their quarterback for the year, but he had a ton of injury problems. Ended up only playing like 4 games, and actually their predicted starter for their game tomorrow is Armstrong, who only had 803 yards and 7 touchdowns on the year. So it's going to be interesting for Nebraska. um, Given their ragtag situation, which they used 3 different quarterbacks, they actually played very well. Going 8-4 this year, they beat every team they were supposed to: Wyoming, Southern Miss, South Dakota State, Illinois, Purdue, Northwestern, Michigan, and Penn State, while losing mostly to ranked opponents in 16th ranked UCLA, then 16th ranked Michigan State, a good Minnesota team, 34-23, and they finished out the year kind of laying an egg, 38-17 against Iowa. That's kind of what put them in this game. They came in with conference title and maybe even national title hopes at the ceiling, I guess, for their hopes this year. But everything kind of came crashing down as injuries took them out, and their team never really looked that good. Um, but they were still pretty solid this year. They ran the ball a lot, 221 yards a game. That's 19th in the nation. Scored 32 a game while only giving up 25. Not bad for Big Ten play. They only passed for 199 yards a game, though, which is 93rd in the nation. Could be a struggle for them at times. Big thing for them in this game is going to be running the football. They've got Abdullah, their one constant. This guy had 1,568 yards and 8 touchdowns on the year. He's a monster. He's going to really be the key to trying to beat this Georgia team they're going up against. And while I'm talking about them, let's just go ahead and talk about Georgia. I don't know. They had national title hopes this year. That was the expectation coming into it. They had the nail-biter loss in the SEC title game to Alabama last year, and Aaron Murray decided to come back just to try to win that title in his senior year. He could have went pro and been a top 10 draft pick. He took the risk. Unfortunately for him and Georgia, it just didn't pay off this year. They started the year off with their national title hopes taking a screeching halt right off the bat after a 38-35 loss at Clemson. And they were able to fight their way back into it with wins over South Carolina, who was 6th in the nation at the time, a good North Texas team, LSU, who also was 6th at the time, and a overtime win at Tennessee. But by this point, injuries had ravaged this team. They were losing people left and right, and Aaron Murray was just about the only constant. And it kind of showed. Missouri, who was a really stout team, was ranked 25th at the time, won 41-26 over Georgia. Vanderbilt was able to upset them 31-27 in a nail biter. And from there on out, Georgia's season was kind of lost. Their national title hopes were gone. Their conference title hopes were really gone. They really didn't have too much to play for outside of pride. And they did play good after that, thankfully for them. They beat Florida. They beat Appalachian State as they're supposed to. They got beat on the mother of all prayers, a tipped Hail Mary pass by Auburn, 43-38, part of Auburn's miraculous title game run. But afterwards they were able to beat Kentucky and survive a 2-overtime thriller against Georgia Tech, 41-34. Now the reason that game was such an overtime thriller and such a struggle was because they did not have Aaron Murray for it. Sadly, this dude tore his ACL in one of the last games of the year, and his career at Georgia is done. That said, hats off to him. He had an amazing career. Even this year, with the team struggling, he had 3,075 yards and 26 touchdowns. He was the man. But now they're going to have to move on from him and try to use Mason, who had 648 yards and 4 touchdown passes. He's a good player. He's able to keep this team in it. He helped them win that game over rival Georgia Tech, who was a pretty stout team. And I think he's really going to show up here. They passed for 313 yards a game, 16th in the nation, and that accounted for 38 points a game, 19th in the nation. They only gave up 29, which is 80th in the nation, but you consider that conference schedule, that was rough. A non-conference game against Clemson sure didn't help their cause. Neither did that Georgia Tech finisher. They only rushed for 176 yards a game, 57th in the nation, but they're really good at controlling the clock with it. They use predominantly Gurley, who has 903 yards and 10 touchdowns on the year. Overall, they've really got the better shot at winning this game, I think. These two teams met last year in the Capital One Bowl, and it was a completely different story. Georgia won fairly big with Aaron Murray having a huge game and outplaying Taylor Martinez. But neither of those two were in this game. It's going to be really weird to watch for fans of both teams, I think. But there's still a lot on the line, a bowl victory, and a pretty nice bowl game, really. And I think it's honestly going to be over midway through the third quarter. I think that Georgia is going to take this one, pulling away with Gurley having a strong game and Mason being able to manage it better, I think, than Armstrong will be able to, as he had 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions against a weaker schedule. Georgia's still got an SEC defense. They can still play tough, and I think that's going to show in this game. And I think Georgia's going to ride their strong running back and good quarterbacking along with a great defense to a win by the score of something around, I'm going to say 34-17 Georgia. That said, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Good luck to both teams, and Happy New Year. Enjoy, guys.